dolls, it's your girl Patricia. Welcome back to my channel. So today we are back with a video. We're going to be discussing everything about recovery homes. Now, I have talked about so many topics on my channel in regards to BBL and post-op, but the one topic I have not discussed yet is recovery homes. So here we are. I'm going to be talking about recovery homes, my experience staying at a recovery home, whether or not I recommend it, and the pros and cons, plus also give you guys some tips on picking the right recovery home for yourself. So this is going to be a very lengthy video, so we're going to get right into it. So first off, when it comes to picking a recovery home, there are very important steps that you need to take to make sure that you are picking the right recovery home. And just to talk about myself for a little bit, as you guys saw in my BBL recovery vlog, your girl did end up staying at a recovery home only because I kind of didn't have a choice. And so the reason why I did not have a choice was because my mom was out the country and then my sister had work. So like for the first 3-4 days, I want to say, after surgery, I did stay at a recovery home. My mom and my sister did end up coming for me, I think like on the 5th day or the 4th day. I can't really remember, but I can go to my inbox and look at the receipts. But so like the 4th or 5th day, they did end up coming to get me, and then we ended up staying in a hotel for the remainder of my stay in Miami. And so as far as my experience in a recovery home, it wasn't bad. The only thing is, if I had a choice, I would probably prefer to stay at an Airbnb. And so we're going to talk about the pros and the cons. But like I said, my experience at the recovery home was not bad at all. But if you're in the same boat as I am, where you kind of don't have a choice because you don't have anybody to take care of you at the moment, then go with the recovery home. So we're going to get right into the pros and cons. One thing that I love about staying at a recovery house is that everything is included. To be honest, I really didn't need any supplies. Like, I brought, and I was just being extra, was the baby wipes and the urinal, but they literally have everything for you. So when you book that recovery house, everything is included in that price. And so I really love that because, and we're going to be discussing Airbnbs. Had I stayed at an Airbnb, you do have to buy your own supplies. And so things like the bedding on the bed. Now, when I got my surgery, I didn't have to worry about, oh my gosh, am I going to stain the sheets? There's going to be blood everywhere. Am I going to have to pay? You know, because once I got there, the bed was already made. They had the bed protector to, you know, protect the bed from any blood and any mess that was going to happen after my surgery. Versus if you stay in an Airbnb, you do have to make sure that you are protecting the bed, because the last thing you want to do is ruin someone's mattress, because 9 times out of 10, the Airbnb host does not know that you are there recovering for surgery. So please keep that in mind. But on the flip side, this is why recovery homes are a bit expensive, is because you are getting everything included in that price. So that's kind of like a pro and a con. Like, you can stay at an Airbnb for less money, but you're still gonna have to buy supplies and everything. Or you can stay at a recovery house where it's gonna be more money, but everything's included. So it's kind of like a personal choice on what you want to do. But you know, I just had to also love that transportation was included. So had I had my sister and my mom, you know, try to pick me up, it would have been a lot of driving around. Just because you need a ride for pre-op, post-op, the day after surgery. So another post-op, plus massages, plus, so there's a lot of driving around to do. So if you do have reliable transportation, then I would say that's amazing. But when you are booking a recovery house, I love that the transportation is included, and food is included as well. So one thing about my recovery house that I love was that I had 3 meals cooked every single day. Now that's super amazing, because had I stayed at a Airbnb, you know, you need somebody there that can cook for you, because after BBL, you're just so out of it that you're not even thinking about cooking. So please keep that in mind. But on the flip side, if you stay at an Airbnb, you can control what you eat. Like, you can cook whatever you want, you can eat whatever you want, you know, you just have more freedom. So that's really a pro between recovery houses and Airbnb. When you're in an Airbnb, you have more freedom on what you want to do. And when I was at the recovery house, there was only one other woman that was there recovering with me, but I do want to say I was in my own separate room, but there was another woman, she was in a different room. And so, you know, she was nice, she was cool, it wasn't no issues at all. But please do keep that in mind. If you do decide to stay at a recovery, there will possibly be other women in the house. So if you're like the type of person that want privacy after surgery, you either have 2 options: get the Airbnb, or when you are booking a recovery house, to get a separate room. But even if you do get a separate room, just know there's going to be other women in the house. So if you're the type of woman that love privacy, then I would definitely look towards the Airbnb, because you're gonna have your privacy, and also you can bring whoever you want to the house. So that's one thing to keep in mind. When you're in a recovery house, I think they allow you to bring one person, but a lot of the times if you want someone to sleep with you and stay with you in a recovery house, you do have to pay for them. So I feel like that's so big. I feel like the difference between a recovery house and Airbnb is your support system. Like if you have 10 people that's trying to see you after surgery, forget about it. Like get the Airbnb, because at least you have a lot of people that can watch over you, if that makes sense. Because if you're in a recovery house and you know you want your boyfriend, your mom, your this, it's like a lot of recovery homes is just not having it, especially because around this time, COVID wasn't going on, but you know, they were still, a lot of places were still functioning like, you know, the pandemic was going on. So they cannot have a lot of people in and out the house, because after surgery, you're very vulnerable, and so the last thing you want to do is catch COVID. So I feel like that's why a lot of recovery houses got a little strict about company coming over. So please keep that in mind. If you're the type, you know, you want your boyfriend there, your mom, your cousin this, you want multiple people, get the Airbnb, because recovery houses are very strict on who they allow in the house for safety, privacy, a lot of different reasons. I'm not gonna lie too, like after a couple of days, I kind of wish my sister was there, because I was just like a little bored. And you know, you kind of want to be around people that you know and you know is more comfortable with. But like I said, my experience was not bad at all, but I'm just giving you the facts so that you can decide what is a better option for you. Recovery houses versus Airbnb. With the recovery homes, a lot of them do require you to book for a certain amount of days. I feel like it's for safety, because the last thing you want to do is be getting surgery and try to fly home 2 days later. So it's definitely for safety, but just please keep that in mind when you are booking a recovery house, is that you do have to book for a certain amount of days versus an Airbnb. Like I said, an Airbnb, you can pick whatever you want. You can stay for however long you want. You can have whoever you want coming in. You can cook whatever you want. So an Airbnb is definitely more freedom. If I was to do a round 2, I think I would go the Airbnb route. I'm not sure. I honestly am not sure. If I'm out the country, I would definitely do a recovery house. I do want to say that. But if I'm in Miami, I might do the Airbnb route. That's just something that I will have to think over. But I honestly think I will be leaning towards that, because Airbnb was my option, but it just didn't end up working out. So another thing to keep in mind is if you do get an Airbnb, please book a private nurse to come and watch you. Don't get me wrong, maybe your mom, your sister, your cousin, your best friend, they may be able to take care of you, but in case of emergency, you want a professional that is checking on you at least for the first 24 hours. And that is one thing that I do like about recovery homes, is that you do have them watching over you 24/7. And so if you feel like, you know, you have health problems, or there may be a complication, or you're having multiple surgeries, maybe look into a really good recovery home with trained professional staff. Versus if you're a healthy individual and you feel like you're going to be okay, and maybe you have a cousin that's a nurse or a friend that's a nurse, or you're able to hire that private nurse, then go ahead and do it. But I do want to really say that make sure you guys are having trained people. If you are booking a recovery house, make sure that the people that are taking care of you are well trained, they have experience, and that, you know, they're going to watch you a lot, because that is so important. That's really the pros and cons of recovery house versus Airbnb. Like I said, I kind of would have, my first choice was to get an Airbnb. I was actually going to hire a private nurse, but then the more I thought about it, I would have had to hire a private nurse plus the Airbnb, and plus get transportation, because yes, my sister has a car, but it's not really a truck or a van. It's just like the regular 4-door car. So these are all things you have to really include. Do you get what I'm saying? And at first my mom was going to come down, but I would have had to rent a van, Airbnb plus nurse. So think about it, like that's definitely going to add up, but it also has its pros as well, because, you know, it's more leniency. It's just a lot. And so I would have been like, it's just a lot. And plus with recovery, I would have been like, you know, around people that I know. And so these are just what you have to decide. And so now I'm going to give you guys some tips on when it comes to booking your recovery house. I feel like this is so important. don't always go against what other people say. Do your own research to make sure that you are making the best decision for yourself. And so when it comes to booking a recovery house, what's so important, and by the way, I did stay at Bloom and Beauty in Miami. Make sure you do your own research, because I don't want any of y'all DMing me, leaving comments saying that I refer to recovery house so make sure you guys do your own research. So I'm going to give you guys some tips on what you can do to make sure that you are picking the right recovery house for your best needs. Number one, pick a recovery house that is close to your surgery center. So after surgery, the last thing you want to be doing is driving 45 minutes. And so make sure that whatever recovery house that you stay at is pretty close, you know, like 15 minutes is average, maybe 20 minutes, but 30 minutes or 40 minutes, no. So if you have surgery in Fort Lauderdale, you should not be picking a recovery house in Miami. If you have surgery in Miami, I would stay away from picking a recovery house in Fort Lauderdale, because you're going to be in a lot of pain. And so you don't want to be in the back seat for 45 minutes. Think about traffic. Even if your GPS right now says that the recovery house is 20 minutes apart, you have to think about traffic. And so make sure that's important. Also, if you are a vegetarian, vegan, pescatarian, or you're on a strict diet, make sure that you do get in contact with your recovery house and you ask them if they can provide for your special diet. Because I was actually watching a girl on YouTube, and she said that she spoke to the recovery house, and they told, because she's vegan, she spoke to the recovery house and they told her that, you know, they can provide vegan foods for her. And once she got there, they wasn't able to do that. So it was either it was a miscommunication or they straight up lied. But you want to actually make sure that you get confirmation, and also that they send you a menu, or they can send you pictures of vegan foods they provided. But you want to make sure that whatever recovery house that you're staying in, the rooms and bedding is very important. I actually saw a video where a girl was crammed up in a recovery house, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I would have hate to stay there, because I love my own space. I love being able to move around. That is why I got my own room when I was in a recovery house, because I just couldn't, I don't want to be around nobody. And so make sure that, you know, you ask about the bed size, how many people are in the room with you. Just make sure you get as much details as possible, because this is very, very, very important. You guys don't realize after surgery, you're very vulnerable. Like, you cannot help yourself. So that's why I say Airbnb versus recovery house. You kind of have to weigh the options, because like allowing a stranger to take care of you when you're in a very vulnerable state can be very scary. It really can. I'm not gonna lie, like I was so nervous, you know. I must have been more nervous about the recovery house than the actual surgery, just because, you know, if you don't really know who's going to be taking care of you, you're just going by reviews, it can be nerve-wracking. And I kind of booked everything last minute. It was just a lot going on. So make sure you guys do book ahead of time and try to find the best. Go in surgery groups and do your research, because if I do a round 2, I'm not playing around. Like, I'm really not playing around. And so I just feel like this is just so important. And just make sure that wherever recovery home that you book, that the staff there have experience, nurses or CNA. For my recovery home experience, that you guys need to really take in factor is the pricing. They're not that cheap at all. So make sure that you are saving enough money so that you can pay for some time. Like I said, I think I stayed there 3 to 4 days, or maybe I booked for 5 days. I think I booked for 5 days, but I ended up leaving on the 4th night. And so I think I paid like around $1,000. I'm gonna see if I can put the receipt right here, but I definitely think I paid like $1,000. And so yeah, it is not cheap at all. This is something else that you do need to factor in. Do I feel like it was worth that much? See, now that I've been through surgery and I know what to expect next time, that's why I said that next time I would have probably stayed in an Airbnb, because honestly, it's not that bad. Like, sometimes we get so much in our heads that we're like, oh my gosh, I need the top care service, I need this. But honestly, as far as recovery, I didn't really physically need help. Like, I didn't need help taking a shower. I didn't need help peeing. Like, I was actually doing pretty good out of surgery. So, this is just things to know now. And so I'm just kind of telling you guys my experience. Like, honestly, I really didn't need that much help. And so I'm not gonna lie, it was definitely pricey. So just make sure to factor that in. But at the same time, you don't want to go too cheap, because you get what you pay for. So if you do find a recovery house that is less money, the service may not be that good. So I'm like, recovery house, Airbnb. you know. But at the end of the day, I just feel like do what's comfortable for you. If you do have someone that can take care of you and watch you and provide you the best care, then go the Airbnb route. If you more want that attention on you 24/7, someone cooking for you, someone that can wash your faja, someone that can be over you all the time, then go the recovery house experience. But if you're more independent and you know you want to move around and do what you want to do, then Airbnb. So I kind of just listed out the pros and cons of each one, just kind of help you guys out. So if you guys have any other questions for me as far as my experience or Airbnb recovery house or anything of that sort, then comment down below and let me know. But I just want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button for more content, and follow your girl on Instagram at glamdor_Patrika, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.